In this video, we're going to take a look at Tamron's 28-75 f2.8 zoom lens in the Sony E-mount. Now, with this review, like all my others, we're just going to look at considerations for motion work or for video work, and I really don't take a look at anything specific for still photography. And again, our needs are different, and that's what I need to test for. But let's just jump right in and take a look and see some of the optical characteristics of this lens. It's always fun to look at bokeh first, and as we go to near focus, we see the Christmas lights in back. You know what, they in the center, they don't go quite to a perfectly round shape. There is some edges, and we get a slight coma distortion off to the side. Now, when we stop down to a 5.6, not bad. The stop signing definitely does not get any worse, and off to the side, the shape looks a little rounder. And at f11, the shape is maintained. It does remain round, both in center and off to the sides. And that's a quick look at bokeh. Now we'll take a quick look at some flare, wide open at f2.8. And again, we see the orbs of light, but it's pretty well controlled. I mean, I'm not seeing a lot of spheres, wide open. It's of course there, but not that many. And at an f8, again, we're getting some slightly different shapes, and we're also getting that starburst effect with the light source in the background. And with this test, we can see how the Tamron controls flare with, again, a large source just out of frame. Now we'll check for breathing. Again, looking at the roof line, the sky and the roof, and on the left side, the windows, to see if they get larger or smaller in frame. And again, this lens is doing really well with the breathing. There is a little bit, but it's fairly minimal. Again, a surprise with these new still lenses. And let's jump to the chart. And again, don't mind the moving camera as I barrel focus, but we do see a little breathing, of course. Some change magnifications you could see on the sides especially, but not bad. And checking distortion at 28 millimeters, I do have a very, very slight amount of barrel distortion at 28 millimeters. At 50 mil, looks like it evens out very nicely. And at 70 millimeters, it remains flat, as expected. And in this quickie autofocus test, the Tamron did hold focus on my eyes in this walk-up. Very nice. And that's going to wrap it up for Tamron's 28-75 f2.8 zoom lens. Now, for video work, if you're looking for a lens with great optical qualities and an affordable price tag, again, right now at $879 on B&H's website, this is a real viable option, especially considering it has two other zoom lenses in this series. Now, if you're thinking about, using this as a manual focus lens, I certainly could not recommend it unless you're, just going to pull off the monitor. Again, because with the focus on this, there are no hard stops, of course, there are no soft stops. But the focus in manual mode, it does seem to be velocity sensitive as opposed to more of a linear mode in focusing. For example, if you're moving very slowly, the focus changes very slowly, and then if you move it quickly, of course, the focus moves very fast. And for me, it's just something I'm not used to. Now, in a traditional shoot where I would have a focus puller, in manual focus, it's just not going to work. If you're trying to focus off marks, the marks are just all over the place. And, again, it's not really designed for that. For autofocus, this lens worked fine. It really had no problems finding focus, and it did follow me without difficulty and a simple walk up to the camera. So I think it did pass with autofocus in video mode. So overall, I'd have to say that, this lens is definitely a viable option for video work when using autofocus. And the other thing too, of course, it has several other lenses in this series. So if you want to fill out the range between, 16 to 180 millimeters, Tamron does have you covered at a very reasonable price. Well, that's going to about wrap it up for this lens. And thanks again for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.